The first thing is that it says that those 4,000 students, they were, the Ariza says kantranim. In English, kantranim, it means like, it's not like a nudger, but someone that is like bugging and like irritating.
Name is what?
No, kantranim, like kanter, it means to tease and tick on someone. I don't know how, like, I don't have a good word to translate it to English. But that's the way that the Ariza is describing those students. Yeah, in the Gemara it says
that was their tikkun.
For sure that their tikkun was that they need to die. But I want to explain like about their like shorsh neshama. So the thing is that it's not without a reason. It's not without a reason that those students were like kantranim, or not giving respect one to another, according to the more like simple understanding of the Gemara. Yeah, the Gemara says that shelo nagu kavod ze b'ze, that they didn't give honor one to another. So according to the Ariza, they were a manifestation of a certain aspect. It's called Mohindi Katniss. Mohindi Katniss, it means mindset of a child, literally. Okay, so, and you see that by many people that they get like irritated and they get like very, very narrow mindset. You know what I mean?
Somewhat, not really.
You see, like I'm sure that you're meeting people that are acting like children many times. Yeah, I'm sure that it's not like my personal experience. It's something that like many people experiencing. So that's like Mohindi Katniss. Okay. And there's a lot to say about Mohindi Katniss, but like to say them that like just to give the basic understanding, that's a default. When we're speaking about the building of the spiritual worlds, we're talking about like the tikkun of Zeir and Pin and Nukba. So Zeir and Pin and Nukba, their starting point is Mohindi Katniss, and our Avodat Hashem is to bring them the Mohindi Gadlut, to bring them the state of mind of like maturity. Yeah. So that's like all of the idea of bringing down abundance within the spiritual worlds is to transform from the Mohindi Katniss to a state of Mohindi Gadlus. Okay, that's
Mohindi the Gadluf.
Yeah, Mohindi Katniss, that's the like minority, childish mindset, and Mohindi Gadlus is that's a maturity mindset. Okay.
Mohindi Gadlut.
What?
Is that the same as the term Mohindi Gadlut?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so so that's basically the students of Rabbi Akiva, that they were the Katniss before the Gadlut comes, meaning before Rabbi Akiva had the real students, which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is one of them. Yeah, he had like 5 students that was like the like advanced stage of his development. So those students, they were reflecting Rabbi Akiva. That Rabbi Akiva in the beginning, he was like, obviously according to his potential. Yeah, it's not like for us, but even though he was a rabbi, but it like compared to the potential that he had, it was for him it was Katniss, and that was those students. Those 24,000 is a reflection of that. And then after they died, so that was the transformation of Rabbi Akiva to his Mohindi Gadlus, that then he was able to have the real students that were like receiving his knowledge from him. So that's the basic idea. Now, the Ariza explains that always Mohindi Katniss is with the name of Elokim, and Mohindi Gadlus is the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay? And we know that Elokim is din, is judgment, and the Yud Kei Vav Kei is Rachamim, is mercy, kindness of Hashem. So when we look on the name of Elokim, it has 5 letters. Yeah? And those 5 letters, every 5 letters, says this in Sefer Yetzirah, whenever you have like a combination of 3 letters, like 3 letters, so all the combinations will be, there's 6 combinations for 3 letters. When you're talking about a name with 4 letters, so it will be 24 combinations. When you're talking about a name with 5 letters, which is Elokim, you're talking about 120 names, 120 combinations. So in the like meditations of the Kabbalah, there is like a big concept that we are like using in many places, many meditations with it, that is called Kuf Kaf Tzirufei Elokim, the 120 combinations of the name of Elokim. Okay, it's used for many things. So when the Gemara is talking about the students of Rabbi Akiva, it doesn't really say 24,000. It says 12,000 zugot, 12,000 couples. Yeah, 12,000 couples. So 12,000 couples, people make the calculation, and that's 24,000. Fine, but the language of the Gemara is not. It's not without the reason that it's like 12,000, because 12,000 is the same as the 120 combinations of Elokim. Okay, meaning each Elokim like that, it has like 10 sfirot. So you multiply the 120 times 10, so you have 12,000. Now, why is it couples? Why each
120 times 10 is not 12,000, it's 1,200.
Well, yes. Okay, so you're right. It's 10 times 10. It's like there is like the 10 sfirot within the 10 sfirot. So, but the point is that the couples is because there is like a whole set of those names from Abba side, and there is a whole set of names like that from Ima side. So when we're talking about like the source of the Mochin, of the Pin, so there is like the right side that is Abba, in Israel Saba, and there is the left side, which is Ima and Tvuna. Okay, it's concepts that Bezrat Hashem we're going to deal with like a lot, like through the Etz Chaim, like inside. But to like basically for now, let's say that's the source of the Mochin. This is the source of the abundance of Zeir and Pin and Nukba. So again, also the Mohindi Katniss and also the Mohindi Gadlut are coming from the same source, just different levels within that. Yeah? So those Mohindi Katniss, which is the Elokim, is coming from those 2 sides, and that's why it's doubled. That's why it's like 12,000 couples. And the Ariza explains that the reason that they died in this time of Sfirat HaOmer is because that within Sfirat HaOmer, that's exactly what we're doing. We're dealing with the Mohindi Katniss that are like the remains of coming out of Egypt, right? So Am Yisrael, we see like in the Torah, all of Sefer Bamidbar. So the Torah is telling us how Am Yisrael were complaining all the time through the desert, right? All of this time of Sfirat HaOmer that they were like left Egypt. So all the time they were like in a certain like childish mindset, right? And also that was their spiritual level, because they had to go through a process of growth to get to Shavuot, which is the Matan Torah, to receive the Torah. So they had to go through this process of growth. So every year in Sfirat HaOmer, that's what we're doing. We're dealing with the transformation from Mohindi Katniss to the state of Mohindi Gadlus. Okay, that's what we're doing. And that's a lot with the meditations that we're doing in Sfirat HaOmer every night when we're counting the Omer. So that's like there is few meditations, but overall what we're doing, we are trying to sweeten all of those judgments that are coming with the Mohindi Katniss, right? and to sweeten them, and to bring on the Mohindi Katniss, the different levels of the Mohindi Katniss, to get until Shavuos, and then we get the Torah, which is the completion of this process, the completion of the Mohindi Katniss. So the Ariza explains that because they were coming from that, like Mohindi Katniss, and the days of the Omer is Mohindi Katniss, so it's like judgment within judgment. So they crushed like their judgment that they was like their part of their neshama, that was the level of their neshama. It crushed within the judgments of the Omer, and that what made it that they will die. So that's the basic understanding that I got from the Ariza. And if you want, so we can like try to read a little bit of that article that of Shara Kavanot. The Ariza explains that in the end of the articles of Sfirat Omer. Yeah.
Yochai, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure.
Let's do it. So I'm sharing the screen with you. Okay. See the screen?
I do. Thank you.
Okay, good. So it starts with like things that are related, but later on within that paragraph, it gets to that point about Rabbi Akiva. So do you want me to skip that beginning and jump like just to focus on that point of Rabbi Akiva and his students, or to read
only for the sake of time? Yeah, that would be that would be wonderful.
Fine, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so here. Okay, let's start here. הנה נודע כי הדעת דקטנוס גם הוא כלול מחסד וגבורה. Okay, so we're talking about the Mohindi Katniss. So within we have the Chokhmah Binah Da'at. So the Da'at have within it like Chesed and Gvura of the Da'at. Okay, that's called Bet Itrin, the two crowns of the Da'at. אלו שם אלוקים דמילוי אלפין. So there's two names of Elokim that is based on Aleph. Okay, you have the name of Elokim, which is Yudin. Elokim, the Hey is Hey Yud. You have the Hey that is Hey Hey, and you have the Hey that is Hey Aleph. But within the Hey Aleph, so there's two possibilities. That's what it's saying here. Chesed Aleph de Milui Hey Shebo, within the Chesed side, so the Aleph of that Hey is made out of Yud Vav Yud. של הגבורה בצורה יוד ואב דלת. Are you like, can you imagine like Aleph that is like Yud in the top, slash, and then the bottom is Yud, or the bottom can be Dalet. Yeah, the bottom of the Aleph. So that's what we're talking about. And the right side will be Yud Vav Yud, and the left side will be Yud Vav Dalet. Okay, Drush Aleph. So there's like a continuation of all of that. לכן נקרא עקיבא. Why Rabbi Akiva is called this way? כי ג' אותיות עקב, the three letters of עין קוף ב', and בגימטריה, בית שמות is the same גימטריה of 2 times אלוקים of חסד and גבורה. ובית אותיות י' א' מן עקיבא, okay, so you have the עקב, the עין קוף ב', and you have the י' and the א'. So the י' and the א', מבחינת שני ציורי האלפין, is a hint for those two kinds of א'. כי של חסד ציור י' ו' י', שהוא צורה של אות א', so you have in the י' ו' י', yeah, that's the א', okay, של הגבורה is the paint of י' ו' ד', okay, of עקיבא, במלואה, so that will be like with the מילוי of that, okay? נמצא כי בית אותיות של י' וא', so those two letters of עקיבא, בית ציורי אלפים is a hint for those two points of א', שהם בית אלוקים הרמוזים בג' אותיות עקב. And these are the two kinds of Elokim that are hinted in the 3 letters of Ain Kuf Bet, מן עקיבא. הנה רבי עקיבא, הוא היה אב ורבי לכל הנשמות הנמשכות מאלו הגבורות המתפשטים בגופא דזה. Okay, רבי עקיבא, he was not only like physical rabbi in this world, he was also the source of those souls that they were the application, the manifestation of those gvurot that are expanding through the sfirot, the 10 sfirot of Zeir Anpin. The body of Zeir Anpin, it means the 10 sfirot of Zeir Anpin. לפי שהוא כללות הדעת העליון. So who Rabbi Akiva is presenting is the da'at elyon. The da'at elyon is like you have the chokhmah bin da'at, and then from the da'at it spreads to the lower sphirot, right? So that da'at have like the lower part and the upper part. So the da'at elyon, it means the upper part of the da'at. למעלה בשרשם במקומו. And so there, this is like the source of the abundance before it spreads down. אבל תלמידיו and the students of רבי עקיבא, מבחינת הגבורות המתפשטות ממנו, is those גבורות that are expanding down from the da'at into the lower 7 ספירות, מתפשטים בגופא דזעת that are expanding through the body of זעיר אנפין, לפי שהקטנות קודם לזמן הגדלות, because the minority is coming before the time of their maturity, לכן הקדימו בתחילה, that's why they came first, אותם כ"ד א', those 24 students, שהיו לו בבחרותו, that he had when he was a younger rabbi, מגבעת וענן טריפס, so that's like, the Gemara is saying those locations, okay, כמו שאמר רוזל, like it says in the Gemara, אותם היות מספרם כ"ד א', so what's the reason that they are 24,000? לפי שהדעת של הקטנות, because the da'at of that minority הוא שם אלוקים, is the name of אלוקים, כנזכר, והוא מצטרף לקוף כף צירופים, and the name of אלוקים had 120 combinations, כנודע. כי כל תיבה בת אותיות, every letter, every word with 5 letters, בונה קוף כף בתים, is making 120 combinations, נמצא כי יש בהם כף ד' צירופים. So altogether there is 24 combinations, מתחילים באות א' that are starting with the א', כף ד' מתחילים באות למד, and 24 that are starting with the למד, וכולי. So yeah, for each one of the 5 letters, you have 24 combinations of that starts with that letter. Yeah? You with me? Okay. ואלו הכ"ד א' תלמידים.
I'm listening, but I'm so lost.
Okay, so you got that point that the 5 letters makes 120 combinations?
Yes.
Okay, so how does it work? How does it work? You have 5 letters. Within the 5 letters, you have 24 combinations for each one of the letters. Yeah? So you have, like, for example, you have Elohim starts with Aleph. So there will be another 23 that are starting with Aleph. Yeah? So you have 5 times 24. So 5 times 24, that's 120. Right? אלו כ"ד א' תלמידים, כולם מבחינת כ"ד צירופים א' של אלוקים. So all of those 24,000, it's a little bit different than what I said before, but those 24,000 are the 24 combinations of the Aleph of Elohim, okay, של אלוקים האלף, of the first, which is the first 24 combinations of out of all of the 120, שבאיתרא דגבורה מתפשט בזה, and that's all of the side of the גבורה, of the da'at, that comes and expands through the body of זעיר אנפין. וכולם מתחילים באות א', and they are all starting with the letter א', כי א' ואלף הכל אחד, and that's the reason that we say like 24,000, because 24,000 is 24 אלף. אלף is א', yeah?
So let me ask you a quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt, Rabbi Shimon. So are these 24,000 students mamash actual 24,000 students, or was it a manifestation of a number? Were they actual 24,000 neshamas and live bodies?
Very good question. I can't answer that. Okay. The Ariza didn't say, I don't have a source, but I could definitely hear that it's not like physical, like 24,000 bodies that were there, that it's like a concept.
Okay.
Could be.
Okay.
Anyhow, גם זולת זה נודע כי שם אלוקים ממילוי הין בריבועו עולה בגימטריה 1000. Okay, if you'll take the name of אלוקים and you'll do it with milui of hein, yeah, so the hey will be hey hey, and you'll do that as a ribua. Do you know the concept of ribua of names? No. Okay, Bezrat Hashem, we'll like through the Etz Chaim, like you'll get all of those concepts of Bezrat Hashem. It's all kinds of ways that we are like expanding the holy names. And whenever you want to meditate on the light that comes from like higher place and spreads within the lower, so one of the ways to do that is with those expansions of the names. So there is like the milui, like when you're doing the aleph as aleph lamed pei, that's milui. And when you have ribua, so it will mean, for example, you know, probably all of you saw those graffitis of Nachman Meuman. You saw those graffitis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the way that they write the Nachman there, this is called ribua. Okay. Whenever you write in the Kabbalah something like a name in ribua, it can be any name. Okay. So you're doing the first letter, then the first and second, then first, second, third, and so on. Yeah. So Yud, Yud K, Vav K, that will be Ribua of Yud K, Vav K. So here we're talking about the Ribua of the name of Elohim with Milui of Hein. So that's like a lot of letters there. Okay, that's like something that is serious. So if you take all of those letters together and you do the gematria of them, so altogether it will be 1,000. Okay, that's what he's saying here. עולה בגימטריה 1,000. הרי בהטעמים, למה היה מספרם כ"ד,000? So we have two reasons why they were 24,000. לסיבת היותם מוחינדי קטנות, one reason because they were coming from the mindset of the minority. לכן היו מבחינת דינים קשים, so they were in this aspect of the harsh judgments, והיו קנטרנים ושונאים זה את זה, so they were like teasing and hating one another. כמו שאמרו שלא היו נוגעים כבוד זה לזה, which is what the Chazal is saying in the Gemara, that they didn't give the respect one to another. וכאשר באו ימי העומר שבין פסח לעצרת, so when those days between Omer and the Pesach came, between the days of the Omer between Pesach and the Shavuos came, שאז זמן קטנות זעיר אנפין, which is the time of the minority mindset of זעיר אנפין, ואלו ימי דין, which is days of judgments, אז הוא זמן יניקת החיצונים. This is the time of the sucking of the nourishment of the external forces, חס ושלום, we're trying to prevent it, but like that's the default if we're not doing the right things. לכן פגע בהם אז מידת הדין. So that's why those judgments hit those students של הקטנות, because על שלא נהגו כבוד זה לזה. So because they didn't give respect one to another and they were teasing one another, so there was like judgment upon them that they will die, and the time that it hit them is the time of the Omer, which is days of judgments. ומתו בימים ההם, so they died in those days. בהיותם קטנים, when they were minors, meaning like not minors like children, but like youth. ולא הגיעו להגדיל ולהאריך ימים. They didn't get to grow and to have long days, לסיבה נזכרת, for this reason. ובבוא יום ל"ג בעומר, and then when the day of ל"ג בעומר came, ההנגלה קטנות ב' של אמא שהוא שם הקדתם. So then there's a revelation of a certain level of mochin that is called katnut bet. Okay, the second level of katnus, that is the name, this name, akadetam, is a certain variation on the name of Elohim. Okay, do you see that the Aleph and the Mem is the same like Elohim? Just instead of Lamed Hey Yud, so you have Kaf Daled Tet. So it's like one letter down. So that's a certain combination of the name of Elohim. Anyhow, so that level of mochin is called katnut bet, asher be'ima, it is coming from ima, הנה הוא חילוף שם אלוקים, which is a combination of אלוקים, אשר הוא בחינת רחמים. And that's the symbol of that, the message of this name is the aspect of רחמים, mercy, אלוקים חיים, בסוד אלוקים חיים. Okay? So the concept of, there is concept of Elohim, and there is concept of Elohim Chaim. So the Elohim is like something that is like in the middle. It's not like mercy, it's not like total judgment. Something that can be like either or. But Elohim Chaim is totally mercy. So that's the level that we're getting in Lag BaOmer. Okay, and all of that is explained in the first article of Pesach. Okay. goes on a little bit more. הנה האותיות הקדתם, so those 5 letters of הקדתם, הם סוד ה' גבורות, is the 5 גבורות of the gadlus. על זה אמר כתוב, and on that it says, ביטחו בהשם עדי עד, like there's a pasuk, yeah, in תהילים, put your trust in Hashem forever, literally. So that pasuk, עדי עד, הוא באימא. So the Ariza explained that pasuk is referring to the level of אימא הילאה, והוא רחמים, and that's related with the attribute of mercy of Hashem. לכן בו תלוי הביטחון, and that the measurement, the character of having trust in Hashem is related with that level, with that name. מנבר לעיל כי נדרש בספר זו פרשת וערה על בינה הילאה. Okay, so he's sure that everybody knows the whole Zohar, so he's just like telling us that you can find about it in פרשת וערה, שהוא שם הקדתם והוא רחמים, so that's the name and that's the attribute. מנבר לעיל בדרוש א' של פסח בעניין ד' כוסות. Okay, I'm going a little bit, skipping a little bit because I don't want you to, I want you to get like the thing that you wanted and not to go to side points. So, yeah, so all of that, like next lines is about like the different variations of the name of Elohim. So you have the Ad, like is related with the Gal, and that's the Gal, and that's the Baomer. Okay. So that's what he's explaining here, the connection between Baomer and the name of Elohim. So I showed you that name. I told you that you have the Aleph and the Mem that are the same, like Elohim, and the Kaf Dalet Tet is when you take it one down, right? So yeah, so you instead of Lamed you have Kaf, instead of Hey you have Dalet, instead of Yud you have Tet. Okay, so those letters just
and
Kaf,
that's
Dalet,
one of
Tet.
Hashem's 72 names.
No, that's a different, like that's a different subject matter. It is related. You can okay. Connect those, but no, it's not one of those 72. Anyhow, so those middle letters of Kaf, Dalet, and Tet, the gematria of them is 33. Okay, and that comes instead of the Lamed Hayud of Elohim. Okay. So that's basically the thing of Lag Baomer, okay? Because Lag Baomer is the 33, right? Lag, Gal, it's the same thing, okay? And that's what he's saying here. So אומנם האותיות מתחלפות בו הם גימטריה גל, okay? That's the gematria of 33. הנה ביגלות נגלות השם הזה, so that name is getting revealed ביום ל"ג בעומר, in the 33 of the עומר, שהוא סוד האותיות המתחלפות, which is those letters that are transforming within the Elohim, שהוא יותר רחמים, and that shows the mercy, that it transforms from Elohim, which is judgment, to הקדתם, which is the mercy. ואז פסקו למות, and then they stop from dying. Okay? And if you have another few minutes, so here he's talking about like the next level of the maturity of Rabbi Akiva with the new students that he got. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. But before we start on that track, I just have a question, and this is the hard concept for me to try to grasp. If these were students, they by definition would be studying Torah. If one of the very first concepts in Torah that is taught to us is right, to love a fellow Jew such as yourself, and much more so if these were Rabbi Akiva students, they were probably on a much higher madrega than just the pshat of loving your fellow as yourself. How could it be that is the explanation that's given for their downfall or for their fault, as to say that these are just some kind of street kids that had a hate for one another, and this is what caused their demise. I mean, that's the concept that is hard for me to wrap my mind around, because these were gedolim in their own right. I mean, they heard the Torah directly from the mouth of Rabbi Akiva. Right.
Yeah, the question is clear. I agree with the question for sure. The answer that I can give that is not like it's not the full answer. You can still ask a question also after the answer. But the answer I give is that there is certain people that they have harder work to get to their potential. So I could say that everybody, also those students of Rabbi Akiva, everybody have potential of transforming from like one level of their like neshama, and by working very hard to elevate and to connect to a higher level of their neshama, that is like the continuation, the source of whatever they got. So in other words, even though their starting point was the Mohin of the minority of Mohindi, but it doesn't mean that they didn't have the potential to mature out of it and to get to level of like Mohindi Katniss, which is Rahamim. But the fact is that it didn't happen. So why exactly it didn't happen? Why they went through that? It's very hard to answer that. I can also say that like within the Torah, even though they were like, they had like a very good rabbi, and they had all the potential, but within the Torah there is a concept of Zachar ne'asa lo sam chaim. If you have the merit, it becomes to be like a source of life, the Torah. Lo zachar ne'asa lo sam hamavet. If somebody doesn't have the merit, it chas v'shalom lo elenu, it can turn to be like a poison. Yeah, it's hard to say and it's hard to hear, but that's what Chazal is telling us. So and Shem Yerachem, unfortunately, you see that there is people that they had like all the potential, and they had like good rabbis and all kinds of different things, and in the end of their days they became to be like very, very mistaken, to say the least. Okay, so it's unfortunate, but it's possible. So also in their days and also in our days.
Yeah, and the Torah tells us of two separate times of that. One, I think, is with Nachum and Dan, with Aaron's two sons. I think that somehow can also be intertwined into this. And the other one is Acha, right? When he came back, when the five great sages went up to the next world, and after he came back down, he went to the other side. So that can also be looked at from maybe perhaps from that end as well. I think that since they were so young, presumably they only had lived out a fraction of their life, although it doesn't really say how old they were, but presuming because of how many years it took Rabbi Akiva to teach them, which was I think 24 years in total. These neshamas must have been collectively still before their midpoint of their lives as far as on an age metric. But thank you very much for the explanation, and it gives a little bit greater clarity than before. You want to do the next paragraph?
I understand you don't have the time to read through this next paragraph. I'll just like say it in short that the five students is corresponding to those five letters of this name Akadatam. Yeah, the name that is the revelation of the mercy. This is the level of maturity that Rabbi Akiva achieved, and that is the five students that correspond to them. Bezrat Hashem, yeah, we can definitely continue. There's more, but maybe tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem.
And from Bezrat Hashem, from that point forward, the Torah had never ceased to stop being learned from those five students.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The Torah has been, Baruch Hashem, learned perpetually from that point of the five students.
Right. Yeah. Baruch Hashem.
Thank you so very much. I would love to meditate on today's shiur if possible, if you don't mind, if you could send me the recording of it so I can read it over and read it over. I really would love to get this concept of how the lettering and how the names and the gematria on that work. So that would be much appreciated.
Okay, Bezrat Hashem. I'm trying to upload all of those videos. Just like I told you, I have a problem with my connection. So when Bezrat Hashem I manage to upload it, I'll share you the link for sure. No problem.
Okay, thank you. Just on the session from today is the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I understand. No problem.
Okay. Bracha Hatzlacha. Simcha Rabba. Thank you. We'll speak tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem. Thank you.